Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. I want to explain to you all about the Chase credit card hack. And what I mean by that is that I know some of you all keep seeing these people saying, "Well, I got 150,000, I got $90,000 Chase credit cards." And I know you want to know, okay, what is it that they're doing? All right. So here's the hack. All right. So there's a couple things that they are not saying that you must do in order for this hack to work. Okay. Number one, it has to be within the 524. Okay. Now, sometimes with Chase, they will let you go beyond the 524. However, that's only if it's a business credit card most times. Okay. However, if you max out that 524, and for those of you that do not know what the 524 is, or the 524 rule is, basically, if you open up 5 revolving accounts in the past 24 months, they will not allow you to qualify, okay, for their credit cards. All right. So that's the 524 rule. All right. To help some of you guys. Now, getting back to what I'm about to share with you. Here's the thing about it with Chase. All right. The hack that they're doing is they're going after travel credit cards. So they're going after hotel credit cards. They're going after airline credit cards. All right. These are the main type of credit cards that they're going after. However, one of the things about it that they are not sharing with you is that there's certain credit cards. All right. And the reason is that with Chase, the higher the annual fee, usually the more money they give. Okay, it's just a respective to that most of the time. All right, now that does not apply all the time. Okay, and so in terms of if you don't want to pay high annual fees like 300 and almost $400, $600 type of annual fees or whatever. It's not 600. I think it's like 550 is like the max with their annual fees. Okay, if you don't want to pay those, then there are certain cards that are still in the travel industry with Chase that you can actually go for. All right, now I'll tell you those cards here. So United card, okay? So when you're looking at the United cards, the card that you want to go for if you don't want to pay any annual fee is the United Gateway card. It's zero annual fee. Now, please keep in mind, this is still a Visa signature card, all right? Now, here's something that people are not aware of in terms of the climate that we are in. Right now, with Chase, when people assuming they're going to get high limit credit cards off the bat, they're kind of being reserved. They'll probably give you the maximum of $20,000 versus where you could apply for a Chase card and they may start you out at maybe 30, 35,000. But again, going back to what's on the credit file, okay? So you have to make sure, because usually you're going to need about 3 Chase credit cards, 3 to 4 Chase credit cards in order to do this. That's the reason why you can't have that 524, okay, in order for this to work for you. The income, okay, so in terms of what's the amount of income that you should be putting on the application. This is where they're looking at the overall household income. They're going to be looking at, and this is just mainly some of the underwriting stuff that you need to understand. If you anticipating on getting a $100,000 out of Chase and your income is less than 85,000, then you're gonna meet more challenges, okay? Unless you have a very low DTI, and that also affects the situation as well. If your DTI at this point is over 30%. I usually tell you guys with most banks and credit unions, your DTI should not be over 55%. However, when you're trying to get these high limit credit cards from Chase, your DTI should not be over 30%. Okay? This is very important. Like I said, if you're trying to get high limit in order to do this hack. Okay? So going back to the first credit card I mentioned, the United Gateway, all right, 0% annual fees. Then the second credit card you want to look at is the Marriott Bonvoy Bold, okay? It's zero annual fee on that card as well. And then another travel credit card that you want to look at is the IHG One Rewards card, okay? Now, here's the thing about it. Let's just say that Chase decides to give you 30,000. Now, remember, I just said that they're being very conservative, and it's because of the climate you're in, and then also factoring in the relationship. See, there's four criteria to this that people are not mentioning: the 524, the income, the annual fees, okay, and the relationship. So if you're brand new to Chase, then you definitely should not anticipate getting higher limits unless you have a very strong credit file, okay? And unless you have a strong income. And what I mean by strong income, now you're talking about your income is hovering at least between 100 and 145,000, okay? And I would definitely suggest to make sure that you are either showing up rental payments on there, a car loan, or a mortgage on that credit file as well, okay? So that's something that's very important because, again, when you're looking at the underwriting process, because sometimes if your credit file, if they say, well, we'll give you a response in 7 to 10 days versus, well, we'll reach out to you in 30 days. Now, most people are not even aware, like if you put in an application and they say, well, we're going to send you out a response in 10 days, what that means is that they're just trying to identify the data and stuff like that. That doesn't mean you're denied, okay? However, if they say, well, we're going to be sending you out a response within the next 30 days, then that's a higher chance of denial, okay? So that's a little secret that you should keep in mind as well, all right? So if you don't get an instant approval and they said 10 days, that means that they're evaluating the information. If it says, we'll reach out to you, you'll get a letter in the mail in 30 days, that means that it's a denial, okay? So that's something you also have to take into consideration. Taking these here credit cards, okay? That's the United Gateway for 0% interest, the Marriott Bonvoy Bold 0% interest, and the IHG, saying that they give you $30,000 on each of those. So once they give you those credit cards, what ends up happening is people will do a balance transfer for these cards, moving the balance off of these here credit cards, and then what they'll do, their balance is moved over to like the Chase. Now that card itself is $500 annual fee on that card. However, because of that 15 months of 0% interest, this is why they're doing this hack, because they can move all the money from those three cards over to this here new credit card, all right? And so when they open up this new credit card, you may already be approved for maybe about $10,000. So that's the reason why I'm telling you that. So if they was giving you 30,000 from the United Gateway, 30,000 from from the Marriott Bonvoy Bold, and IHG One Rewards, if they was giving you 30,000 on each of those cards, that's 90,000. Now, when you apply for that other Chase card, usually, again, that card, usually they start you out at about 10,000. That's $100,000 right there. okay? And the thing about it, because you done moved all of that 90,000 over to that card, now you have 15 months of 0% interest on purchases and balance transfers. Now, here's the challenge that you're going to have, all right? Remember, Chase does not give you convenience checks. So, yeah, you have $100,000 on this card, but the thing about it, how do you liquidate the card to get access to the cash, all right? Now, most people, they would go and they would buy gift cards and stuff like that, and that's just way too long. But other people, they would have their spouse. They would have their spouse that owns a corporation, or their friend that owns a corporation. Then they'll take that card and they'll go over to Melio. They may go over to Plastic, and they would have their friend bill them for services. And then when they bill them for services, they will pay out through the card like that to liquidate the card, okay? So that's just one way they do it. But the main thing is understanding, you trying to get this 90,000 or higher limit hack or whatever, you have to make sure that you have the right cards and the right profile, all right? So if this video helps you, put a comment below. Let me know if you have any other questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.